How's it going, YouTube lovers? This is the Eagle Builder Animator, and welcome back to another video. Today I have something special for you. I am starting a brand new series of animation compilations, because after all, animation is literally in the name of the channel. So I figured, what is a better way to start off this humorous, exciting, and occasionally downright goofy series than to start with a compilation of moments from one of my favorite shows currently running on Disney XD, Star vs. the Forces of Evil. So here we go. First video of the animation compilation. Here's my Eagle 8 of the top Star Butterfly quotes from Season 1 of Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Number 8. This quote is from the 13th episode of the season, Storm the Castle. So this episode, Marco gets kidnapped by Toffee, which is all part of Toffee's overcomplicated plan to get Star to destroy her wand. Now Star is really ticked at the monsters for kidnapping Marco. Understandably, Marco's her best friend. But she isn't exactly the best planner. So she has an unsteady alliance with Buff Frog and, I guess, Ludo, if you can count that. But when she sees the layout of the room where Toffee is, where Marco is, and she's ready to go in, on impulse, of course, because that's Star, she tells Ludo and Buff Frog,
"Here's the plan. We're going in on the count of one."
That is not good plan.
One.
Seriously, Star, you have to be better at planning. Going in on the count of one and just randomly blasting everything is not the best idea. Anyway, this quote is really funny, and as the sequence continues, it really shows that Star is just thinking blindly and only concentrating on saving Marco no matter what. So anyway, this is a great quote. Now let's go on to the next one. Number 7. This quote is from the very first episode of the series, Star Comes to Earth. This is very much a setup episode, and we're learning more about the characters as they're introduced, but it's still full of great one-liners. This quote comes from right after Marco sees for the first time a little bit of what Star can do with her wand after she turns a harmless little butterfly into a screaming monster that then carries some poor innocent person off. And he is getting a little bit scared of this strange new foreign exchange student, so he basically asks her, very cautiously, "Who are you?" And she replies,
"I'm a magical princess from another dimension."
At this point, Marco is done, and he just leaves, and Star continues being her upbeat, lively self. This is just one of the greatest introductions ever. She's not an official Disney princess, but she's a princess on a Disney show, and so, to me, that means she's a Disney princess, and one of my favorites. She is absolutely hilarious. So anyway, let's go on to the next quote. Number 6. This quote is from episode 10 of the season, St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses. In this episode, Star and Marco go into St. Olga's Reform School for Wayward Princesses. I'm sorry, that's just too long. They go into St. O's to try to break Ponyhead out. But after Marco inadvertently starts a rebellion of the princesses inside of this reform school, which is actually pretty much princess jail, Ponyhead decides to stay and help any of the other girls in there that she can to keep them from getting their individuality sucked out of them. Yes, this place is horrible. But Star is scared to death of this place. It took a lot for her to come here and try to help her bestie Ponyhead. So after they're done, Star quickly says to Marco before pulling him through the portal,
"Okay, Marco, I conquered my biggest fear and grew as a person. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get out of here and never come back."
Good for you, Star. You did face your fears, but I'm not sure if you grew as a person because you're still the goofy 14-year-old princess that we all know and love. But anyway, that was this quote. Let's go on to the next one. Number 5. This quote is from episode 8A, Blood Moon Ball. Now, of course, this episode is most popular among the fan base for this particular scene. This episode has its own share of great quotes. And my favorite Star quote from this episode actually comes after the ball itself, when Star is, unfairly might I add, telling off Marco for coming down to save her from Tom, which she totally needed because that guy was a creep. But one of the reasons that she gives to Marco for telling him that she can handle herself is that,
"I'm 14. I can handle a demon."
I love this line so much because if it had been anybody but Star Butterfly, it wouldn't have made any logical sense. But Star really can handle herself. But Marco, good call going down there to save Star, because if you hadn't, she would have had her soul bound to Tom's for all eternity, and that would not have been good. So anyway, that was this quote. Let's go on to the next one. Number 4. This quote is from episode 6A, Mewberty. Now, the word is pretty much exactly like it sounds, but way scarier. Mewberty is a cross between Muni, the place where Star is from, and puberty, which apparently Mewberty is quite terrifying and pretty much means that these girls who are going through it should go into solitary confinement so that they don't put the kingdom in ruin. But anyway, when Star starts getting the symptoms of Mewberty, when little purple hearts start appearing on her face, kind of like acne, but somehow she can pull them off like they're stickers, Marco starts getting increasingly worried because this is a whole new level of weird for Star. Even Star tells him that it's going to get weird. So he asks her very calmly, is this going to be typical Star weird or destroy the school weird? And Star's answer is quite point blank,
Destroy the school.
Alright, Star. And she's not far off. If the effects of Mewberty hadn't worn off, she probably would have destroyed the school because there's nothing Marco could have done no matter what he did. Star was... yeah, never mind. This episode is creepy, written like a horror film, and that line was brilliant, especially because her voice gets all low when she does it. So anyway, on to the next quote. Number 3. This quote comes from the second half of episode 1, Party with a Pony. Now this is the first time that we meet Ponyhead, the obnoxious floating unicorn head, who seems to always love making jokes at Marco's expense, especially when she first meets him. She wanted to be Star's only bestie. At one point she ends up ditching Marco in another dimension while telling Star that he had gone ahead to save them a spot at some concert in a place called the Scum Bucket. Not sure if that's a reference to SpongeBob or not. But Star is pretty mad at Ponyhead when she figures it out, because she cares for Marco already, even though this is only the first episode. And Ponyhead's actually quite shocked by how much Marco means to her. And in her words, not mine, she asked Star if that, quote, earth turd really means that much to her. Yes, she is very mean to Marco. And Star replies, using Pony's own words for some reason,
He's the best turd I've ever known.
Star, it's kind of sweet and kind of obnoxious at the same time. You really didn't have to use Ponyhead's words, and yet it really showed that you and Marco are already becoming great friends. So anyway, they end up going back and trying to save Marco from the goons from St. O's who are there to get Ponyhead. So anyway, this quote was brilliant just because Star really has no idea what she says sometimes, even though she's trying to be sweet. Anyway, on to the next quote. Number 2. This quote is from episode 11b, The Banagic Incident. And in this episode, Star ends up seeing an ad in a magazine for something called the Banagic Wand, which she immediately thinks could be real Earth magic. Of course, there's no actual real magic on Earth, but she doesn't know that. And especially after seeing the TV commercial with an irritating jingle, she immediately becomes obsessed with finding this thing. And she keeps pushing Marco to try to help find it, but he has a karate class to go to, so he's not going to help her. And he's worried that she doesn't have a strong enough grasp on Earth culture. Which is partially true because she thinks that a guy with a lot of hair is a werewolf and that a pirate-themed restaurant is full of real pirates. She eventually finds the Banagic Wand and somehow manages to use its powers of Earth magic to get the pirates who are chasing her after wrecking the restaurant to calm down, and they all enjoy some frozen banana yogurt. Star is so excited, and she finally feels that she's grasping Earth culture, and then Marco apologizes to her for saying that he underestimated her. And Star immediately is hurt by this and kind of mad at him. And so, with one movement, she pushes the bowl of frozen yogurt out of his hand. And when he asks why she did that, she tells him that
There was a fly on it.
Okay, Marco, if you learned one thing here, it's never make Star Butterfly mad. There was even no full reason to be mad. He apologized, Star. Just forgive him. But yeah, she's Star, so she gets mad and leaves Marco there wondering, what did he do wrong? Anyway, this quote is brilliant, and she does that thing I love where she gets her voice really low when she says something. The line was delivered brilliantly, and then she just walks off, leaving poor Marco wondering, what did he do wrong? So anyway, that was this quote. Let's go ahead on to the next one. And finally, number 1. This final quote is actually one of Star's best-known spells, and while she's used it many times over the series, the time in Season 1 she has used it the most is 3 times in a row, and that is in Episode 2A, Matchmaker. Now, Star has quite a plethora of spells that she has made up, from the Warnicorn Stampede to her favorite and most popular, which is the
Narwhal Blast! Narwhal Blast!
Aww, Narwhal Blast.
Yep, Narwhals. She has used this spell many a time, and it is her trademark spell even. And in Season 2, it actually makes it into her official princess song, which is a whole nother disaster story that I can get to in a later video. But anyway, this one gets the top spot because it is one of the most iconic Star Butterfly spells. It is in fact one of the first ones that she has ever used. She even uses it in episode 1A, Star Comes to Earth, as the last spell to finally defeat Ludo's monsters in the first battle that she and Marco have against them. So this one gets the top spot, but all these other quotes were tons of fun. And Star Butterfly, you have quite the imagination to come up with all of these different sayings and spells. Before I go, here's a quick recap of today's Eagle 8 countdown.
Here's the plan. We're going in on the count of 1.
That is not good plan.
1.
I'm a magical princess from another dimension.
Okay, Marco. I conquered my biggest fear and grew as a person. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get out of here and never come back. I'm 14. I can handle a demon. Destroy the skull.
He's the best turd I've ever known.
There was a fly on it.
Narwhal blast! Narwhal blast! Aww, narwhal blast.
Hope you guys enjoyed my Eagle 8 countdown of top quotes from Star Butterfly and Star vs. the Forces of Evil Season 1. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited for more videos like this in the future, please be sure to drop a like on the video down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and help the channel reach that 100 subscriber goal. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys!